that men, we need to step up. We need to do
We
better.
want to be a provider. We got all these memes and Facebook posts and social media posts talking about not going to Cheesecake Factory and this and that, and the man should pay this and 50-50 and all that stuff.
Welcome to the Tissue Box Podcast. I'm your host, Pam Jordan. Welcome to today's episode of the Tissue Box Podcast. And we have the pleasure of diving into the world of Antoinne Duane Jones, a remarkable individual. His life is as colorful and multifaceted as the photographs that he captures. Antoinne, he is a devoted father. He beautifully balances the joys of parenthood with his dynamic career. His journey is not just about capturing moments through his lens as a celebrity photographer, but also about creating narratives that inspire and resonate with people across the globe. And he's also an author and visionary entrepreneur, turning his creative passions into successful ventures that pave the way for aspiring artists and photographers. He gets the job done. His journey is a testament to the power of dedication, creativity, and the endless possibilities that arise when one dares to dream big. So sit back, relax, and get ready to be inspired by the incredible story of Antoinne Duane Jones. Welcome again to the Tissue Box Podcast. How you doing?
Who are you talking
I
about?
knew, I knew, see, I knew I was going to get that reaction from
Who is
you.
that
Yeah, you are that guy.
guy? I'm that guy.
I'm super excited that you are here today. I'm super excited about your journey and what you're doing and the big things that you're doing. So, my first question to you is what led you down the path of photography? Was it instilled in you from a young age to the point where you decided, I'm going to make a career out of this thing?
Not at all. Well, technically not at all, but I've been an entrepreneur since birth.
Since birth,
So
okay.
that I just that bug or that gene is in me. So as a kid, we didn't have a whole lot of money, so sometimes I had to figure out how to create lunch money and things like that. So it was
Wow.
like we had a drugstore. Maybe it opened like 4 minutes before my bus came. So I would run to the store, be standing outside, open up, run in there, grab whatever money I could, quarters, change, nickels, dimes, whatever, buy a whole bunch of candy, and then go to school with that penny candy and sell it, and then make money off of that penny candy so I
Wow.
could eat. So I've always been an entrepreneur, and photography was like a nag, really. That's how photography started. It was like you say you take pictures all the time. My girlfriend at the time was my wife. She said, "You said you take pictures all the time. You never take pictures. You need to take pictures of me." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever."
Hmm.
And then I got one of those little Walmart cameras that used to make the little noise. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, I got some of those, and I took pictures of her. She was like, "You need to do this for real." And I was like, "Yeah, whatever." And then my mom saw some pictures a week later. She said, "You need to take some pictures for real. You need to do this for real." So I went out and bought like $1,000 camera and started buying all the equipment, and then boom, 19 years later,
Wow.
almost to the day, I've been doing photography.
That is amazing. So evidently they saw something in your photographs that said, he could go places with this.
Yeah.
But you had to believe that, right?
Right, because I mean, I've always been an entrepreneur, but
Yeah.
being a photographer, for pay was like I wasn't thinking anything about it at the time.
Were you always drawn to photography, or is it just how did it happen to where you said, okay, you know what, I'm going to do this? Because like you said, you were an entrepreneur from the very beginning, so obviously you had your choice of things to go, and you were going to be successful. So what was it about photography that said, this is it?
So I've always had the entrepreneur bug, and then my degrees in business and marketing, management, all that good stuff, and then it was really more like, oh, this is something I can do and really interact with people. because I started as an accounting major and I realized that, okay, I like business and like money and all that good stuff, but I needed to be around people.
People.
That's what
Did
makes
it.
me glow.
Okay.
Making other people smile, making other people happy is my thing. I love to see it, and that I can add that creative aspect to that. That's like, oh wow, it's like, you know, the moon and the stars and the rainbows and the sprinkles all come together when I can see
Yeah.
people smile and go, oh my God, that's so amazing. So that's how that kind of started. It
Awesome.
just
I love
blossomed
that.
into this a whole career because I switched over from accounting to marketing. It was like, oh, now I learn why people think the way they do, how this works, how that works, how commercials work, and then photography just added to that.
Okay, so where was the big break?
The big break, I don't know where the big break was.
Something,
'Cause it was
some
always,
window opened.
I mean, see, that's the thing about God. Like windows open when they open. So I mean, my first break is I met the first person that ever paid me $1, like just any amount of money, was Shanika Hammer Brown in obviously Conway, South Carolina. That's where I started. Really,
Yeah.
that was my first ever payment. So she was doing her salon, and she was like really really big in the area. So she hired me, and that was my first like, okay, I could get paid for this. Then Fayetteville, I kind of honed my skills when I moved back there and started grinding and doing everything. But I had support from people that knew me in college. So that was an opening. Now, when I moved here to Atlanta, that's when, the things really, really happened. But that was just persistence. I was living in North Carolina. I felt that I had outgrown I felt I was a big fish in a small pond. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna move to Atlanta. Everybody like, you're gonna move to Atlanta, you're gonna have to move back. Everybody moves to Atlanta, oh my God, you'll never make it there, that type thing. I was like, yeah, right. I mean, I'm gonna make it regardless.
The
So
attitude.
I started coming like once a quarter. I would come down here to kind of network. And then when I knew I was gonna move here for sure, I started like DMing like famous people. Like it was like, hey,
Wow, just
I'm
what?
a dope photographer. I'm coming to Atlanta. I'm gonna be the next thing to sliced bread. You need to check me out. It was like nothing. So I was like, okay,
Crickets.
let me hold into the fraternity and sorority side. So I started GMing Selena Johnson, who was also a member of Zeta Phi Beta. I'm a member of Phi Beta Sigma. So I started DMing her like once a week. Once a week, it was like, hey, Sora, I'm moving to Atlanta. You check me out. I'm gonna be dope. Blah blah blah. Nothing.
Wow.
Then month later, nothing. 2 months later,
So
nothing.
where was your headspace at this
headspace-
when you were getting all of these no's?
I mean, it wasn't even a no. It wasn't
mean,
even
silent.
looking. It was a cricket.
Crickets, yeah.
So I was like, man, whatever. Man, they don't know me, so maybe they're gonna find out. So
Okay.
maybe like 6 months into it, it was like red. And then another like month later, it was like red. Then a month after that was like, hey, frat. I'll check you out. I'm gonna get you to my assistant, who's also a soror. And then y'all can link up from there. But by that time, I was shooting for a magazine, so I linked the assistant with the magazine, and then boom, that was
Wow.
like the first like celebrity type,
That did it.
big deal, and that kind of launched everything from there.
Because it only takes one.
Only takes one.
So from there, so who are some of the celebrities that you've captured?
Oh wow. I shot Cynthia Bailey for magazine cover, Shuler King, Bow Wow, Little Mo. Yeah.
So how is it working with them?
Oh, I'm
'Cause
thinking.
yeah.
I don't know because my whole photography mission is like to make everybody feel like a celebrity. The celebrities are just people too. They put their pants on the same way. They probably got more stress than we got. So it's just this. My job is to get them to look the same way, to be amazing, to feel amazing, and just have this amazing experience every time they work with me. So it's really no different to me than shoot regular people.
Wow. So you're not like
Like starstruck. No,
all
I mean,
starstruck.
it would only be maybe 2 or 3 people in the world that would ever miss Kobe, Magic Johnson.
Yeah.
That would be it. Maybe Halle Berry. I don't know, but I can't think of too many people I would be like, oh, kind of
Starstruck over.
starstruck.
Yeah.
There's just people too.
Okay. But you've been in it for a while now and you've seen the stuff. So they're like all the same, pretty much, right?
And people are people.
Yeah.
People all have feelings. They want to look their best. I haven't had any bridezillas and weddings or people really really rude. I haven't had that because I try to make people feel
Well,
great about it.
you're laid back and you're
But I'm
smooth
silly
and-
too. But yeah, definitely. But yeah, it just depends. When I'm focused on the job, then I'm focused. But when I'm out and about, I do try to have the mood light.
Yeah. So what do you do for fun?
Oh
Or is that
man,
fun?
yeah, that's definitely
That
fun.
is your
But
fun.
I love. I'm a helper, but fun. I mean, I'm a bowler.
I bowl.
Yeah, but I've been we were raised in a bowling alley like 4 to 6
Nice.
days a week, maybe seven sometimes
Okay.
as a teen. So I've always bowled. I love to eat, so I love to cook. So that's always a plus. So that'll be my retirement job to transition that creative side from photographer to chef eventually. So I'll be working on that too.
Yeah. And so you're an author. Let's talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I think that even though the book is catered towards entrepreneurs, whether you're it's called the down entrepreneur. So whether your business is at a low point or you're just starting, it'll kind of give you some tips and tricks to kind of to proceed. But that's all from that marketing degree standpoint, and 19 years of trial and error as
Yeah,
well.
going
So
through it
yeah,
yourself,
yeah,
right? That's experience is the best teacher.
absolutely. So it
Yeah.
it it, it literally can go for any business, any entrepreneur. It kind of gives you some simple stuff that you wouldn't even think about, like getting sleep. That one that we talked about, my favorite chapter or my favorite point is your best friend should be no. So if you're comfortable enough to hear no a million times, so much so that it doesn't bother you, like it's your best friend, then you'll always get to your yes, right?
That's, I love that. I love that. So how has the success of the book, how has that been? How are you promoting that, and how are you helping others who are going down the same path?
Well, I think that what the book wasn't to sell a million copies. The book was like, if you help one person, then
That's
you
all.
did your
You
part.
did your job.
So when I got stuff from the publisher like, oh yeah, with people like downloading from overseas and all that, I was like, well, that's cool. That's all that really mattered to me, because I didn't do a book launch or anything, which I'll probably maybe do sometime at the end of the year. But
Okay.
it was more so like, can we get this out here, and just something to say you did it. Like it was a bucket list. Like I wrote a book. I'm an author, because everybody's author, best-selling author, and all
Yeah.
that stuff. I was like, I don't care about that. I was like, I just want to help people. So
Yeah.
if somebody helps it, because again, we had that position where, especially our people, they'll get all these $10,000 seminars
Yeah.
from other people, but if people of the same color send some information, it's like, oh, it's kind of like pulling teeth for people to
Yeah.
get it. Because even in teaching photography, it's like I've seen people that'll pay thousands and thousands of dollars to get tutored or mentored by photographers that aren't black, and then you come to us like you want to do it for free, or they don't want to understand it, or they don't think that the information that we've
What,
obtained in all
what,
those years is.
why do you think that is?
I don't know.
I mean, it's been forever, but I'm interested in what you think
Yeah, I
about
don't. I
that.
think that we're in a time now with social media that everybody thinks that all the information you should get or can get that's most valuable comes from somebody famous, and I don't think so. I mean, most of the time the famous people don't know what's going on. Their managers and their people behind the scenes are the ones that are kind of pulling the strings. So
Right.
people that are doing something every day, all day, are the people that have the most information, and they've
That is so true.
typically seen what not to do, so
Right.
they can tell you what to do. So
That's
yeah, I
awesome.
don't fight it. And if you want me to train you or mentor you, then that's cool. This is what it is. If not, I mean, information's out there too.
Right. So let's talk about your family.
Okay.
How in the world, as busy as you are, how do you balance
Well, I mean,
that between your family
I
and
don't
spending time with your
I don't know if
si-
it's a such thing as balance when you're doing so much, but
Yeah.
I'm getting to the point where everybody's older, so everybody's a teenager and up now. I have a daughter who's going to graduate from college in a couple weeks, so it's more so just the rocky roads are over for the
Yeah.
most part, because you know 10 years back I became like a single dad. Like I was just totally raising my daughter by myself and still co-parenting my sons when I lived in North Carolina. Then I moved to Atlanta, and it was technically just me and her with a little help from my sister. So it was really really challenging to be coming down here, starting to be, an entrepreneur in a brand new city, in a brand
Yeah.
new place with a daughter starting high school, like,
That had to be
and still
challenging.
living in North
Yeah.
Carolina 1 week a month, driving there, being a full-time dad there, then driving back, being a full-time dad here, and working an entrepreneur both places, it was rough. So getting to the point where now it's like, okay, the kids, everybody's kind of self-sufficient for the most part. You got a grown person now, so it's cool to see that, you know, I didn't raise a psychopath. You know, you got stuck with your dad. So it's like, oh, you got stuck with your dad for 10 years and you're not a psycho. Like, you did good. You got to graduate with honors. You didn't pay a dime to go to college. Like that in itself is, you know, what we talk about when it's talk about being a dad or being a parent. It's like, hey, your kids aren't crazy. They're doing something with their lives. Great grades. Never got any trouble. They're all coming up. So it's going to be good. It's been worth the battles.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So I do want to ask you about that period that you were going through when you were trying to juggle everything that you were juggling. Um, how did you mentally get through that phase of your life?
Man, I don't think I did mentally. I think that you know, it was a lot of like you don't realize how bad your mental state is until sometimes after the fact. So, you know, I was really kind of just had really been depressed for like a decade because, you know, went through divorce and, you know, I came from a divorced family. So that was like, okay, I already had issues with my daughter's mom. And then I ended up divorced, which I was like, that's something I absolutely didn't want to do. I didn't want the kids to experience, and I didn't want to experience, but here we were. So I was kind of moving like actively depressed, but still actively
But
being
when
a
you
person every day. Like it's like, oh, you're depressed. And you know you're depressed, and most of the people around you know you're depressed, but you still don't have time to not be depressed because you have to still be a parent, still work, still do everything, still try to figure it out. So it was like I'm actively depressed forever, but I'm still activating every day because you really didn't have a choice. You had to, like, especially when I became a single dad, it was like I didn't have a choice. Like I was down some days for weeks or days, whatever like that, but then I had to figure out a way to kick out of that because the kids still needed to eat, I still needed to work, and that was kind of the balancing that there.
So when you were going through that, did you know you were depressed going through it, or you didn't realize you were depressed until after you
Yeah,
got through it?
I don't think I realized I was really, really depressed until maybe like 5 years into it. And it was like, yeah, I'm depressed. And then, you know, we started learning about resources or how to cope. And even now, like I really, really got into like, you know, therapy and all that, which I highly recommend. You know,
Yeah.
our cultures seem to be getting closer to understanding that therapy isn't like the devil, you know, like we were raised like, oh man, go pray about it, Jesus'
Exactly.
name, and everybody's gonna be all
Yes.
right, prayed away. But
Right.
you know, like I always tell people, it's like God put people on earth that went to school for forever many years to be able to help you navigate through your mind. So it's not always a prayer thing. It's people are professionals and they've been put on this earth specifically to help you navigate through your brain. So that's not a bad thing for somebody to help you because most of the time they'll be like, yo, this is something that happened when you're like 11 that, you know, transpired and rolled and blossomed into something that was so much bigger as opposed to, oh, well, my relationship failed and now, you know, I'm depressed. It's usually
Yeah.
something that happened like way back in your childhood and then you just kind of manifest it now. So yeah, I'm all for mental health. I mean, that's one of my initiatives is especially for black men is black and brown men is to kind of say, hey man, we need to talk more. We need to do more things together. And we definitely need to focus on mental and physical health.
So what is your platform to do that, to reach men, what and get that message out?
Well, personally, I mean, I do what I can as far as trying to do that. But on the fraternity level, I'm the international chairman for Sigma Fathers. So my whole appointment, this is my second appointment, but so 2 year appointments. The first year was really just the foundational building because the committee didn't exist. So my whole appointment was to create, gather, blueprint out resources that would help fathers. And knowing that I had those mental health issues or those struggles, that I wanted to make sure that was integral part of the whole fatherhood thing because I mean I have literally been every aspect of a father. I've been a married dad, I've been a divorced dad, a girl dad, single dad. You know, the only
Wow.
thing I think I haven't done was raise, you know, like adopt. You know, but I'm cool on that. You know, we got the
Wow.
kids. But yeah, that's pretty much the only aspect of fatherhood that I haven't been is an adoptive parent. But I've seen the court system from both sides. I've
Wow.
experienced pretty much everything from the dad's side. So yeah.
Well, I do have a question.
Okay.
Since your children are like adult, how do they feel about your celebrity photography? How do they have they ever met any of the folks that you've photographed?
They don't care. These kids are different nowadays. I thought I was gonna be super dead of the world. Like
Really?
one photo shoot, I was like, oh, I took him because it was Ayo and Teo. It was I just want to rolly. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm gonna be dead of the year when I take these kids to this photo shoot. And they didn't care nothing about the celebrities. They were playing with this little celebrity's little dog that they brought in. They didn't even. I was like, oh my god. I was like, this is. But so yeah, they're used to it. They're used to me
That's
working
great.
and,
That's
and
great.
taking photos. And like I said, I treat everybody the same. So they're not moved by that that type of environment.
Yeah. Okay. So you stay booked and busy?
Man, I need to, but
Yeah.
yeah, I think that 2024 is going to be a great year from all aspects. So yeah,
I believe that. I truly believe that for you. And I want that for you. We need more black men like you with the message that you're getting out. That men, we need to step up. We need to do better.
we just need to do more together. I mean,
Right.
that's really black women have the blueprint of doing things together,
Yeah.
and black men can do the same if we just get on the same page and say, hey man, we don't need to reinvent the wheel. We've seen them do it. Now it's time for us to kind of pick up the mantle and say, okay, it takes 3 or 4 or 5 of us. We could do this. We could open up a shop. We could do this. We can barter. We can
Yeah. It's
work
the
things together, and
togetherness
then
for
we can
me.
make sure that we're healed as well.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, I'm grateful for you. I'm grateful for what you're doing. I'm grateful for the message that you're getting out. Because, like you said, it only takes one person. If you can change the life of one person or leave a lasting impression or make an impact in one person's life, your job is done.
You did what you can do.
Yeah. And I truly believe that that's going to resonate, with that one life that you change, or have a dramatic impact on, it's going to have a trickle down effect, you know? So that's what we're hoping. Again, I'm so excited. Now, before I let you go today, okay, because I'm a little animated myself,
Right.
but I love that. I'm super excited for your journey. I'm super excited about where you're going. I'm super excited about more in 2024 for you. And I always like to finish up with the question of your tissue box moment, because we here at the tissue box, we love the fact that we are getting vulnerabilities from our guests, and we love the fact that we get to see your triumph over your trauma. So what was one tissue box moment that comes to the forefront of your mind right now that you got through, and how you got through it?
I mean, I think it took years. But I mean, the initial moment was you as a man, especially
Yeah.
a black man. You're raised, or you're taught, or you looked out in the spectrum. You saw that, okay, you want to grow up, marry, have a job, take care of the family, and everything. We're gonna skip down the street, and
Holding hands.
everything's gonna be
La La
everything was gonna
Land.
be
Yeah.
great. And I
I
think
get it.
that the moment that was the hardest part, and that kind of started, the mental, divide was I got married, and then everything was okay to a degree, but I lost my job, and I started teaching. But I mean, I think I was making maybe like $30,000 less as a teacher than I was in my job. So when you're talking about being a husband at the time, being a newer dad, trying to provide for, that, and you really couldn't, like you're living paycheck to paycheck, that's what started the whole like depressive state when you really, really look back, is that you want to be a provider. We got all these memes and Facebook posts and social media posts talking about not going to Cheesecake Factory and this and that, and the man should pay this and 50-50 and all that stuff. And you really think back, like, most men want to be that provisional leader in whatever aspect. And if you can't do that, especially when that was like put into you, that starts a snowball effect of now you're like, oh man, this is due, and I'm looking at my paycheck going, I mean, I knew before that the first wasn't going to be enough, and then you still had to figure out how to make sure everybody got everything going. So that was like that's the main like
that's your moment.
mountain of power on your shoulders every month, knowing that before the month started that you didn't have enough, but how you're going to make sure that yourself and 3 other people can make it was the biggest impactful.
But you didn't quit.
No, I mean, I probably quit 1,000 times. I just had to start over again, which made it worse sometimes, because when you quit, which I can't ever tell anybody don't quit. I'll quit 1,000,000 times. Now, what I can say is that you have to restart somewhere. But I would say don't quit as much, because don't quit as much, because when you quit, then you have to start from, you don't start from 0 when you quit. You start from like -20.
Right.
And then you gotta you gotta try to find a way to get back to 0 before you can start getting to 1, 2, and 3. So like the more you quit, or the more you stop, or the more you give up and have to start over, then you're starting from -20, -40, -60, -100, and you have to get all the way back to 0 first, which is hard enough. Then start making progress from 1, 2, 3, 4. So those are my tissue box moments.
And your motivation to get out of there. You know? That's awesome. I'm so proud of you.
Thanks.
So, Antoine, I know you, what do you got going on? What you got coming up?
Okay, so, which is big for me, is like I said, we expounded on the Sigma Fathers Committee. So in June, we're doing our first annual Sigma Fathers Week. So here in Atlanta, the 2 main days of the week, which runs from 6/8 to 6/14, is 6/8, we're having a charity putt-putt classic, so that people can actually, instead of doing a golf tournament, we're going to do it on a putt-putt course, so that people could date kids of any age, girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, wives, whatever. They can enjoy a big tournament, but on the putt-putt scene. And then on the next day, the 9th, that's what's the one that's big to me. We're doing our Brothers Do Brunch 2. So we're going to have all men having brunch together, breaking bread, networking, really get that last hour of barbershop talk, so we can sit down and talk about mental health and wellness and finance and child custody and all those good things that we talked about the first one. And then after that, we're going to do our dad walk. So husbands, wives, everybody, we're going to pile up and we're going to hit the trail. We're going to walk in unison so people can actually see, that dads are involved. Black men statistically are more involved than any other race. So we're going to see that in action on the 9th, that we're all going to walk together with our families, kids, and so forth. So that's that week. So that's what I got going on, other than just doing what I can on the photography aspect for 2024.
So how can folks connect with you on social media?
So all my social media platforms are the same as this is my full name. So marketing thing, so people can actually find you. It's Antoinne Duane Jones, ANTOINNE DUANE Jones, on every social media platform.
Every social media platform. And we can see pics of you.
See beautiful pictures and of all types and shapes and sizes and everything.
Awesome. Antoine, we love you. We support you. And if you ever need anything from the Tissue Box, all you have to do is holla.
I will.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Well, thank you again for tuning in to another great episode of the Tissue Box Podcast. Be sure to follow us on social media at the Tissue Box, at thetissuebox.com. Until next time. Thank you for joining us. Be sure to subscribe, leave rating, and a review. And let's stay connected. Visit thetissuebox.com to join our mailing list. Until next time.